No, we are right here.
Okay.
Whoops. You know what, Ray? Could you move your...
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll drag my
I'd
bike.
appreciate that. Good morning. Welcome to the First Religious Society, Newburyport, Massachusetts. I am Sue Creed, and I have the privilege of being your worship associate this morning. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are glad you are here. If you are new and you'd like to connect, please fill out one of the blue cards in your pew and put it in the collection plate. We come together at FRS in person and online, committed to love, peace, and justice. Our mission and our invitation to all of you is to come as you are, journey together in love, act with courage, transform our world. If you are worshiping online and would like to access this morning's order of service, I'm not sure you can. Come to think of it, right? So it's not going to work. So you'll just have to follow along as best you can. We try to announce everything that's going to happen as it happens. And so hold on, we're here. Every Sunday, it is such a blessing that we can gather. So let us give ourselves to it. Welcome once again. It is good to be together.
Good morning, folks. I am Ray Wilson, and I signed up to lead this service this morning.
Ray, move the mic.
Better? Okay. I have two announcements first. One is right after the service, if you go next door to Parish Hall, the book sale is on. And there's lots of wonderful things. The other one is that our own Joanna Fernandez has an announcement about other summer activities at this church. You're on.
Ray, kindly let me jump in last minute. This is just a reminder that this is our last lay-led service of the summer, and our next big event, besides the amazing book sale that's going on next door, so everyone go to that, is that on August 9th, everyone is invited to join in worship in Beverly at the beautiful Lynch Park. It's part of their homecoming services. There is an interfaith worship service. And if you haven't been there, it is stunning. It is in the Rose Garden, and it should be just gorgeous and a great way to connect with other people. And on August 16th, we have our FRS outing to the Annunciation Greek Orthodox Church, our longtime neighbors. And this is an opportunity for us to witness how they worship and to also ask questions. So if you do have any questions, all the information for this is in the steeple, and the Father has asked, if possible, that we could send questions a week in advance, just so he has time to ponder them. And so you can send them to my email, and that, again, is in your steeple. And then the following Sunday is our cleaning the sanctuary, so that's always a fun event. Come and join in on that. There'll be good camaraderie and coffee. And then Reverend Jane will be preaching in Hampton Falls, and that's I think is that the last Sunday of August. So that's always a wonderful FRS tradition. Come and hear what Reverend Jane shares with us. Thank you.
My call to worship is by Rebecca Edmonston Lang. Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. The central idea of this service is a question from the Sunday sermon at last year's General Assembly by the Reverend Dr. Nicole Kirk. What sort of ancestors will we choose to be? I have long believed that we are the beneficiaries of countless generations that came before us. As the UU minister Peter Rabel wrote, paraphrasing Deuteronomy 6:11, we build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. And we drink from wells we did not dig. These 4 lines put some meat on the bones of the question, what sort of ancestors will we choose to be? Meat like, what foundations will we lay? What fires will we light? What trees will we plant? And what wells will we dig? And how, for heaven's sake, can we possibly do this in a world in which so often people do not just disagree, but their adversaries, but hate them and revile them as subhuman? Take heart, my friends. We ourselves stand on the shoulders of giants who went before us. So let's now rise in body or in spirit and acknowledge them and all the other dear ones no longer with us and the examples they set by singing hymn number 103 in the gray hymnal, For All the Saints. 2 verses. Now, please join us in the chalice lighting. As Sue Creed lights the chalice. The words are in the order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And now please stand and join in the affirmation of faith. The words are also in the order of service, and after that, remain standing for the doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. All that dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land by every tongue. Please be seated. The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of the church, both in Newburyport and beyond. Each week, 50% of the Sunday offering not designated as a pledge goes to a local community partner engaged in important efforts to transform our region. Our community partner this month is Newburyport Pride. Newburyport Pride unites, educates, and engages people to support and empower the LGBTQ+ community and our allies with a focus on inclusion. We work to educate the wider community on diversity topics in order to build a stronger and healthier society. We do this by facilitating LGBTQ+ pride events that inspire, commemorate, and celebrate our diverse community through unity and visibility. The morning offering will now be received gratefully. Stephen Wolf.
Along with those,
Yeah.
David Luciano.
Lucchini?
Just as thank you. We don't know
Okay.
for what, but
All right. Thank you. We have a few joys and sorrows this morning. And Sue Creed will light candles for them. Natalie, Tom, and Julia Treat mourned the passing of Natalie's father, David Hilt. David died on July 16th, just a few days short of his 80th birthday. David was known and loved by many in the FRS community and counted the Mercers and the Specks among his dear friends. While he retired with his wife, Kate Broughton, to Greenfield, Massachusetts in 2017, David spent much of his life in Amesbury, where he moved with his first wife, Barbara, in 1976. He served on many town committees and was the city's second mayor in 2002 to 2006. Before and after that, he worked in Lawrence, Mass., where he helped countless immigrants and their children to learn about the library, find jobs, and get into college. He loved people, nature, music, and language. His warmth and wit are dearly missed by his family, friends, and neighbors. A celebration of life will be held in the fall. And we add to that a note that just came in yesterday from Natalie. The Treat family also mourned the loss of Natalie's mom, Barbara Hilt's Natalie's mom, Barbara Hilt's husband, Alan McGregor, died peacefully on Friday, June 24th, at their home in Ajijic, Mexico, with Barbara and his brother Doug at his side. And one more is from in the book, which is in the vestibule. David Lucchini writes, "Thank you." And one more candle for all the joys and sorrows which, though not mentioned here, are just nonetheless deeply held. Now let us join our hearts and minds together in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, God of love, of many names and no name, we gather in this place to share time to reflect and to center ourselves before returning to our daily lives. The world often seems too much for us. We have many questions and concerns, and we need quiet to address them. We seek that quiet in this sanctuary, which has sheltered us and those who have gone before us for over 2 centuries. We seek that quiet in this beloved community. We acknowledge that as much as we want and need answers to our questions, all too often we don't have them. Or we thought we had them, but now we're not so sure. Help us to live with our uncertainty and to remember that what is most important is, in spite of our uncertainty, to show up and do our best. So may it be. Amen. Now let us be silent for a few moments to reflect on things that concern us the most. Amen. Despite the terrible times our ancestors endured, most of them never had to deal with powerful people trying to erase many of the fundamental rights we cherish in America. That frightens us. And it suits the wannabe tyrants just fine, because if we can be cowed into submission, will be easier to push around. Of all the newsletters on Substack, one of the very few to which I have a paid subscription is by a fellow named Jack Hopkins. On Sunday, June 28th, he published a newsletter which is all about being more resistant to fear. It's entitled, "Hold Your Own Funeral Before the World Does It For You." The strange mental exercise that turns panic into purpose and leaves fear with nothing left to threaten. Let me tell you about the most useful funeral I ever attended. Nobody died. There was no casket, no flowers, no sandwiches in a church basement. It happened entirely inside my own skull. It took about 11 minutes, and when it was over, I walked out feeling like somebody had unbolted a piano off my back. I'll tell you exactly how to run one of these for yourself. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Most of us are walking around right now pre-frightened. We're tormenting our own nervous systems about a future that hasn't shown up yet. Some headline, some election, some smug fool handed a chunk of power he has no business touching, and your body is already paying the tax on a catastrophe that might never arrive. We're being billed for the storm and the flood and the cleanup in advance, and we haven't even seen a cloud. And the people selling that fear, they love it. Scared people are easy. Scared people click, donate, doom scroll at 2 a.m., and by the seminar, some email claims will save them. Panic is the cheapest crop in the world to farm. And for the fear farmers, most folks, my friend, are excellent soil. So let's ruin their harvest. The pattern. There's a technique that got cobbled together by the natural language processing people and others. It goes by a few names. Hopkins calls it grieving in advance. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Some therapists call it making room for the difficult emotion. The military calls it stress inoculation. Same animal, different color. It works. The first step. Imagine the bad thing already happened. Not might, did. The election went the wrong way. The institution buckled. The guardrail you were counting on snapped like a dry twig. Done. Over. Lost. Step 2. And this is where most people chicken out. Actually feel it. Don't analyze it. Don't argue with it. Let the grief or the dread or the sick stomach disappointment come all the way up and wash over it. Sit in it. Step 3. Stay there until the wave starts to move on its own. It will. Emotions are not life sentences. They're weather. Wait for the wind to shift. Step 4. Then notice what's still standing. because something always is. After the wave goes out, look for what's left on the beach. Step 5, ask the only 3 questions that matter on that beach. What matters now? What can still be built? And who do I choose to become in this version of the world? And the last, come back to today and bring the answers with you. That's it, the whole funeral. And this disarms the fear farmers because your nervous system, underneath all their noise, is asking exactly one question over and over, like a little kid in the back seat. Can I survive this? And as long as that question goes unanswered, you stay jumpy, brittle, easy to spook, and easy to lead. But when you've already walked all the way through the feared future and out the other side in your imagination, but on purpose, you've handed your own body the answer. Not a pep talk answer, not a stay positive bumper sticker. A lived through, been there, felt that answer. Yes, I can survive this, and here's where I'd start. A man who has already survived the worst, even just in his own mind, cannot be jerked around by the mere threat of it. That's the part the fear farmers can't stand. You become unspookable. You stop being soil. Now, this much is pretty standard, but Hopkins adds an upgrade. He calls it from pre-grieving to pre-adapting. Now, grief by itself can curdle. So here's the twist that Hopkins would push on the standard version. Don't grieve to brace for the loss. Grieve to clear the runway for action. Call it pre-adaptation. The question isn't, how bad will it feel? You've already answered that in step 2. The real question, the one that turns a scared spectator into a dangerous, capable human being, is this. Suppose the worst possible thing happened. After the grief settles down, what do competent people actually do next? And just like that, the movie changes. You're no longer the one hiding under the seat. You're the guy organizing the lifeboats. You rehearse the resilience. You rehearse the phone calls, the neighbors, the next room move, the thing you build out of the rubble. You teach your own body that on the far side of disaster there is work. Useful, steadying, jaw-set work, and not just helplessness. Panic asks, what's going to happen to me? Agency asks, what am I going to do about it? This little funeral is how you trade the first question for the second. Now there's a warning here. This is powerful stuff. So if you're in the grip of real depression, severe anxiety, trauma, or the low end of a bipolar swing, running catastrophe movies on a loop will not inoculate you. It'll just feed the rumination machine that's already eating you alive. The whole technique lives or dies on step 3 and step 6. You let the emotion complete, and then you come back to the present. If you find yourself moving in but never moving out, stuck in the imagined wreckage, unable to land back in today, then this isn't your tool right now, and there's no shame in that. That's a sign to talk to a real human professional, not to push harder. The skill is in the return trip. A funeral you can't leave isn't a funeral, it's a haunting. So here's what I want you to do. Pick the one outcome that's got its hand around your throat, the specific one. You know which. Give it 11 minutes. Bury it properly. Feel the whole thing. Wait for the wave to turn. Then stand up on the beach and ask what's still standing, what could still be built, and who you're going to be. Then get up off the floor and do the next useful thing. You'll be the calmest, clearest, most maddeningly steady person in every room you walk into for the rest of this mess. And the fear farmers will never understand how you pulled it off. Let them wonder. End of Hopkins' newsletter. Yes, let the fear farmers wonder. And let us remember those who went before us. Our own ancestors chose to weather the Great Depression and World War II. They did what they had to do, and we are the beneficiaries. We now face the troubles of a very different and dangerous time, probably more dangerous for our country than any time since the Civil War. But this is nothing new. Even before the Civil War, James Russell Lowell wrote a poem called The Present Crisis. It starts, "Once to every man and nation," and it was written to protest the Mexican War. It became the lyrics for a splendidly resolute hymn in a minor key. Let's now rise in body or spirit and sing now hymn 119 in our gray hymnal, "Once to every soul and nation." Please be seated. Wait a minute. All this struggle and work, give us a break. How about some comfort and rest? Maybe even some recollections of misspent youth? Well, in the current issue of The Sun magazine is a poem by Eric Paul Schaffer that speaks to that. It's called The 11th Street Irregulars. On any temporary sunny day in the valley, none of us had much money, but still my friends complained about the cheap beer I bought, the Lucky Lager, the Old Milwaukee, the PBR. Yet still I filled the rusted fridge with cans and brown bottles. Life's too short for cheap beer, one gazing into the lightless chill would growl, but we knew better and cracked another. The sun was going down, and we knew that too. From the street's dead end, slumped on the couch, tired after long afternoons restoring the decrepit boat, we watched trains pass and deciphered riddles in bottle caps we twisted free with empty hands and our ready, useless strength. Nobody loved my car either. A used Plymouth Champ, of baby splat brown graced with a sporty black stripe and an engine that ran and ran and ran. My mother gave me that car as she gave me the life I was happily wasting. She knew I had no wheels and thought I might eventually need to get somewhere. My friends often found my car with inexplicably pulsing combustion in a cadence like breathing, and lacking cool or charm, useful in an emergency, for a task, a chore, or sometimes the car was amusing. As on the morning after driving one of us to downtown for court, I stopped at a traffic light beside a police car. The Champ, panting at the pause, suddenly sounded his horn, announcing, in a way I never could, "Hey, I'm here!" When the cop, inscrutable behind dark lenses, turned to me, I raised my hands in the universal gesture of, "I have no idea." His badge glinted as he chuckled. The light turned, and shaking his head, the law drove off into another life, and with a sigh of relief, so did I. On long evenings, our dogs slept at our feet, and the boat gleamed, pale beneath a tree someone had planted decades ago for future shade. Keel to the stars, raised on sawhorses, the hull was sanded, ready for paint, misadventure, and the Sacramento River. Like all men of no particular use, looking for work and finding only jobs, we told stories at dusk. Sitting on the couch, the porch, the steps, laughing as loudly and often as the tale demanded. Life, we decided, was good, or at least remarkably better than the alternative. There was, after all, the river and a boat to restore and someday launch into the muddy flow. So we spent our days and dollars together, and no matter what else, there was always beer to drink and always a car to borrow or a ride to a place we needed to go. Okay. No more comfort and rest, no more misspent youth. Recess is over. We have work to do. Work we can do, partly because we have this beloved community in which we can help ourselves and each other to find wisdom and courage for the living of these days. And wouldn't you know, we have a hymn It's all about that very thing. So let's rise once more in body or in spirit and sing to the rafters right now a splendidly uplifting hymn in a major key, number 115 in our gray hymnal, God of Grace and God of Glory. My friends, these are dangerous and scary times. I don't need to tell you that. But it's still a beautiful world. And with all its faults, America remains in many ways a beacon unto the world. The Mayflower Compact, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution point us towards just that. On a tiny scale, we here assembled are also a city on a hill. Let us take some of the peace we find here in this beloved community and carry it wherever we go. The nation and the world need it desperately. The brotherhood of man must not be forgotten from one Olympics until the next. We can help keep that light alive. That's something to take with us. And Sarah, may I have an E? Thank you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, and until we meet again, may the God who loves us all hold you in the palm of his hand. Amen. Amen. Go in peace, return again in great joy. So may it be.